Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host and acclaimed horror writer of such New York Times bestsellers, Act Like a Lady, Think Like Monster, and for cultish girls who have considered self-sacrifice when the shadows are enough, Addison Hadley.
Good evening. My name is Addison Hadley, scribe of the terrifying and macabre. Tell me, do you like to be terrified? Yes, of course. If you'll allow, this chair is wet. It's a horror show. Fair enough. If you'll allow me this evening, I would like to read you one of my short fictions and disturbances. This one is entitled Beastly Sounds. It was a dark and lonely road that Clive found himself on. He was behind the wheel of his Hyundai Elantra GT when he realized that the road he was on twisted and turned into an unfamiliar neighborhood that was not his own. The manors in this quaint village were huge, entrapped by one large iron gate. Clive's brown visage stood out of place in such a sanitized town of terrified and suspicious looks. Beads of sweat, like my very own, dripped down Clive's head, for he had priors. He quickly tried to back out of the clutches of the iron-gated town, but it was too late. He felt the hot gaze of the red and white fire from the tireless sentinel that kept watch behind him, waiting for innocents like Clive to trip to its web. Whoop, whoop. It was the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. It was the sound of the beast. Clive was never seen again. That story still scares my black ass. That's the sound of the police! We meet again. My next story is entitled All That Glitters. It's a story about love, desire, and the horrors of dating and trying to clap cheeks in today's modern world. Our main character is a man named Jonathan, a lonely man who had been working on the delivery floor of an Amazon factory for over 6 years. And in those 6 years, Jonathan had secretly fallen in love with his fellow co-worker, Shanista. Jonathan thought of himself as too poor and average to try to win the hand of such a perfect flower as Shanista. He hadn't even been on a date since before the pandemic, back in the before times. But today, Jonathan was promoted to floor manager. Soon he was going to be rolling in it. Jonathan mustered his courage and asked Shanista out. "What's up, shorty?" Your boy done leveled up for sure. You know, I've been scoping that talent for a minute. Let a brother treat you to some cheddar baked biscuits at Red Lobster. What you say? Shanista was impressed. Okay. I see you big time. Say less. Before Jonathan knew it, he was there at Red Lobster, sitting across from the most beautiful creature he had laid his eyes on. They were laughing, joking, and eating. The chemistry was chemming. This was the best date Jonathan had ever been on in his life. he was most definitely going to blow her back out that night. As they both drank the most expensive cocktails and spirits the restaurant had to offer, Shanista exclaimed, "This shit got me lit." Jonathan replied, "Go ham, girl, my pocket's deep tonight. Get whatever you want, I got you. Like Artemis 2, we going to the moon and back." Shanista looked at Jonathan confused. "What you mean? We ain't never been to the moon. That's some fake news shit." What? Jonathan awkwardly laughed. You got mad jokes, Shanista. You funny. Except Shanista wasn't laughing. Her expression was cold and serious as she leaned in close to Jonathan. "I ain't joking. They want you to think we went to the moon, but that shit is impossible because everyone knows the world is flat." The mood was instantly shattered. "No, dear God, no," Jonathan thought. "She's a fucking idiot." Shanista continued, "You gotta do your research like I do. Them vaccines like I said were mandatory. I'll take my chances with the measles. I ain't gonna let them change my DNA, and if it takes me getting arrested again like I did on January 6th, to protect my freedoms." "Fuck!" was the only word going through Jonathan's head as he drove her back home that night. Jonathan, in fact, did not blow her back out or clap cheeks. Instead, he got a kiss on the cheek from Shanista, who told him before exiting the car, "Remember to brush your teeth with Tide detergent to protect your thoughts from psychic Joe Biden and his pizza demons. They'll get you. Bye, boo." Jonathan watched as Shanista was greeted by her husband and 4 children. It was then Jonathan thought of a conspiracy theory of his own. He remembered how he hadn't been on a date since the before times. A new conspiracy theory. We're not alive. We're all dead. We all died in the pandemic, and this is hell. Oh, I didn't see you there. My final story for this evening is entitled Grandma's Unfortunate Fortune. This one is a true story. This particular tale takes place in our recent past, about 1 score back. That's 20 years ago for you Shanistas in the audience. Miranda's retirement party was everything she hoped for, filled with surprises, love, and of course, family. Miranda had 3 grandchildren whom she loved more than anything. Her oldest, Thaddeus, Thad. The middle child, little Susie, and tiny Timmy. Miranda's daughter, June, had one last surprise for Miranda, a fortune teller. The fortune teller sat down in front of Miranda and pulled out her worn-down Looney Tunes tarot cards. Placing 3 face down in front of Miranda. Miranda told the fortune teller with a thick and plain Jersey accent, "Listen, sweetheart, I think all this stuff is a bunch of BS. But I'll humor you
Save your fortunes about me. I'm old. Tell me about my grandkids. How are their lives gonna turn out?
The fortune teller smiled and pointed at the 3 cards. Each card is one of your grandchildren, and each will tell us their unavoidable fates. The fortune teller flipped up the first card to reveal Foghorn Leghorn, the anthropomorphic rooster who is both a dumb liar and a blowhard. Which is exactly what her oldest grandchild, Thad, will become. He'd grow up to become a famous uber-masculine podcaster who'd rise to fame and influence in something called the manosphere. Getting rich off scheming millions of duped young men to buy his fake testosterone supplements from Burkina Faso. Before having a tragic downfall of his own, after leaked photos go viral of the manly Thad participating in a fetish known as bimbofication. Photos showing Thad wearing lipstick and oversized balloons stuffed under his halter. His wife leaves him. Hearing this, Miranda let out a gasp of terror, but before she could even speak, the fortune teller turned over the next card. This one bearing the visage of the Tasmanian Devil, also known as the Hot Mess. This card is a representative of your second grandchild, Little Susie. She grows into a storm of dysfunction and profanity who no one likes, leaving a wake of disaster and destruction everywhere she goes. And even though her name is Susan, she'll be known by a more terrifying moniker in her neighborhood. A name that strikes terror in the hearts of children everywhere. A Karen. Yes. Beware the Karen. Miranda's hand started to shake at this unnerving prophecy. And even though she loved little Susie very much, she knew in the bottom of her heart that Susie was the fucking worst. The final card still remained face down. Miranda pleaded to the fortune teller, "Please don't tell me I love Tiny Timmy more than all my grandchildren combined. Don't ruin his future too." The fortune teller smiled and turned over the final card to reveal Pepe Le Pew. The foul and lonely lover, the incel. Timmy, like the anthropomorphic skunk, will chase away any chance at love due to the foulness of both his demeanor and funk. Timmy will grow up to be an unwashed, basic-as recluse with 0 riz. And in the future, Timmy lives in Miranda's basement, spending all day viewing Twitch streams and gooning. Side note. Show of hands for those of you who know what gooning is. You, sir, raise both hands. Yes. Now, show of hands for those of you who have no idea what gooning is. Yes, you were like me. You see, I didn't know what gooning was until I participated in this very sketch show. And you see, there was a pitch meeting, and one of the funny comedians in the back had a sketch about gooning. Ignorant, I raised my hand to ask what gooning was, and he proceeded to tell me. And I immediately tried to leave. At which point, another comedian in the back grabbed my arm and proceeded to tell me in even more detail what gooning was. At which point, I wanted to jump in front of a bus. I will not tell you what gooning is. I don't have to tell you. For I know you will all Google it. And then you, like Miranda, will face the horror and hate the future We are living in the end.